Don't want to wait until age 40 to retire? Don't want to continue in a job forever? If you have a strong desire to break free from the rat race, this video was made for you. Numerous people struggle to find the right way to achieve financial independence and retire early. Everyone aims to prosper in life and even after retiring. Therefore, it is very important for one to know which options are the best to achieve financial freedom and what are the pros and cons of those options in order for him to make the right choice to thrive in the economy. Hi, Matrix Money Maker over here. Today, we're going over the 4 paths to financial freedom in order to know how you can retire and be free. Make sure to subscribe and watch until the end because all options need to be looked up very closely for you to make a right choice. Traditional retirement. Of course, to begin with, the traditional way of retirement that everyone knows. Retiring in a traditional way involves a career. If you choose to retire in a traditional way, you work a 9-to-5 job and make a career from it. You work there for about 40 years depending on where you start, and you basically strive to save enough money to cover your expenses for when you will not be able to work anymore, which is when you get old. A lot of people struggle to find how much money they need to be able to retire because as you cannot work anymore, the risk of running out of money is important. And so the answer is that even though everybody is different and has its own particularities, the general rule for calculating the amount of money needed for retirement is the 25x rule. The 25x rule is a way to estimate how much money you need to save for retirement. It works by estimating the annual retirement income you expect to provide from your own savings and multiply that number by 25. If you want me to go into more details about that rule, make sure to comment on it and I will eventually dedicate a whole video on it. Now, there is an advantage when retiring the traditional way. The advantage is that you have your whole life to save and prepare for your retirement. As you make your career, you will have 40 to 50 years in order to collect all the amount of money needed to retire. However, there is also a downside, which is that as you spend your whole life working for someone and save money to retire, you will probably retire when you will be old and you will have no time to enjoy life after retirement. This option of retirement is a great option for the ones that genuinely love their jobs and are passionate about it. For others, there are better ways of retiring out there. Costing financial retirements. The difference between a traditional retirement and a costing financial retirement is that you are able to take your foot off the gas. In fact, if you choose this option, you can step down from a high-paid and stressful job to a less stressful, less paid job, but more enjoyable. The idea is that at the beginning or at the early stage of your career, you manage to save a large amount of cash and let the savings compound for the next 30 to 40 years until you have enough money to retire. Coasting to financial independence means that you've reached a point where your nest egg will grow to the amount you need to fully and completely retire by your future retirement date. Simply said, you beat the game. You don't need to save anymore or work for money. In order to apply this method of retirement, you must live below your means. Live as cheaply as you can in hope to potentially quit your current job and find a job that you can enjoy more. The advantages of this option are that you could potentially retire sooner than the people who follow the traditional way of retirement, and you could switch jobs and therefore enjoy life more. On the other hand, there are some cons too, one of which is that you may underestimate the amount of money that you need in order to retire and potentially run out of money in the future. Now, if you're lucky, you could start to work again and make some additional income to survive. However, if you come to realize that you missed the money when you are already old, it would be harder for you to work again and make money. But don't worry, this situation is less likely to happen to you. Because I give you advice on this channel, so you should not worry about money. Mini retirements. How would you feel if after working a year, you could take a good 2 months vacation in order to resource yourself and therefore go back to work with more enthusiasm? Well, this is actually possible, and it is a special form of retirement called mini retirements. The idea is that you could take multiple breaks within your career time without the need to be super wealthy. In fact, you could work for 1 year or 2 years in a row, depending on your situation, and then take a 2 or 1 month sabbatical and just do whatever you want and enjoy life. And then during your following working period, you return to work and save for your next vacation. The advantages of this option is that you actually get to experience a break very often, and you experience it early when you're young, which allows you to recharge your batteries. The disadvantages of this is that it can be more difficult to achieve than the other forms of retirement, and there is a potential risk of not saving enough money for your future and when you're going to retire definitely. The next method of retirement is called FIRE. So the FIRE stands for Financial Independence and Retire Early. This method of retiring can be achieved in 2 ways. The first way is by lean FIRE. When you opt for the lean FIRE option, your goal is to reduce your expenses as low as possible in order to retire early and to enjoy life younger. These people often aim to have their living cost after retirement at no more than $40,000 per year, which is a pretty decent life, but requires you to be careful and cautious with your money. This option is relatively easy to achieve because you don't have to work for 40 years in order to save the money you need to retire. The second option is the Fat FIRE option, which follows the same logic as the lean FIRE, but rather than opting for living your retirement with low income, the ones that opt for Fat FIRE aim to live a more luxurious life in the years of their retirement. For this reason, even though it depends on where you live and the kind of lifestyle you have, the Fat FIRE method requires you to rely on a 6-figure income per year during your retirement life. So basically, the idea is you will not be worrying about paying your bills or saving your money when you retire. Thus, a disadvantage of the Fat FIRE is that you will have to work really hard during your whole life in order to retire. And so by the time you quit your job, you will probably be a bit old. Financial independence and retire early is for any kind of person. The main part of the method is to know how to save your money and manage it to prepare for your retirement. Subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss more videos about how to make money, personal finance, investing, and much more. Check out the latest video about how to invest in dividends to become wealthier. Take care.